I never meant for it to mean anything. On Outpost Kepri 9, jokes were how we survived. The station hung at the edge of charted space like a rusted nail driven into the void, orbiting a dying blue star that pulsed irregularly, as if even it was tired of burning. Crews rotated every 6 months, but somehow I'd been there nearly 2 years. When you lived that long with recycled air, flickering gravity, and a galaxy that seemed determined to forget you existed, humor became less of a luxury and more of a life support system. That was why I did it. Captain Rax Veroin stood in the mess hall, towering over everyone else, his alien armor gleaming under the cracked light panels. He was Vakari, tall, four-armed, plated skin beneath layers of ceremonial combat gear. The armor was never removed in public. Not during meals. Not during briefings. Not even when he slept, as far as any of us could tell. It had become a running joke among the human crew that Rax was less a being and more a walking tank. Bet he rusts if you spill water on him, one of the engineers once whispered. Bet there's nothing under there, another replied. Just more armor. Rax tolerated our jokes with an eerie patience. His voice, when he spoke, sounded like stone dragged across metal, but he never raised it. He was, by all accounts, an excellent captain, strategic, calm, and terrifyingly efficient in combat simulations. Still, he was distant, untouchable, a symbol rather than a person. That night, the mess hall was louder than usual. Supply delays meant extra downtime, and downtime meant bad decisions. I was halfway through a contraband bottle of Terran whiskey when I noticed Rax standing alone near the nutrient dispensers, his back turned. Something inside me, boredom, alcohol, arrogance, decided this was hilarious. The Vakari armor had visible latches along the spine. Everyone knew that. They were part of the design, functional and ceremonial. We also knew better than to touch them. Or, at least, we thought we did. I crept up behind him, my heart pounding like I was about to steal a shuttle. A few crew members noticed and froze, eyes wide. Someone mouthed, "Don't." I grinned and whispered, "Relax." Then I reached out and flipped one latch. There was a sharp hiss as pressure equalized. The sound sliced through the mess hall, silencing every conversation instantly. Rax stiffened. I laughed nervously. Okay, just kidding, Cap." That was when Commander Celine Tor turned around. She was Vakari too, though smaller than Rax and clad in lighter armor etched with symbols I'd never bothered to learn. Her skin shifted color, from deep cobalt to a pale, ashen gray. Vakari didn't show fear the way humans did, but I saw it then.
Clear as day.
She stared at me, eyes wide and unblinking. "Do you know," she said slowly, her voice barely above a whisper, "what that means?" The room felt suddenly colder. Rax turned, impossibly slowly, and faced me. His helmet retracted halfway, revealing part of his face, ridged, ancient, eyes like molten gold. It was a joke," I said, the words sounding stupid even to my own ears. "I didn't." "You have initiated the rite of unveiling," Celine said. "On sacred ground." The mess hall alarms began to hum, reacting to fluctuations in Rax's biosignals. Vakari physiology was tightly regulated. Any deviation triggered station protocols. Rax looked down at the open latch on his armor, then back at me. "By Vakari law," he said, "this act binds fate." I was escorted to confinement within minutes. No shouting, no violence, just a heavy, suffocating silence as 2 Vakari guards led me through the corridors. Humans stared. Some looked angry. Others looked afraid. A few looked guilty, like they'd laughed at the joke before realizing the cost. Inside the holding chamber, Celine stood across from me, her armor fully sealed again. A transparent energy barrier separated us. "You should have died," she said bluntly. "That's reassuring," I replied weakly. "In Vakari history, those who violate the armor are either executed or elevated," she continued. "There is no middle state." "Elevated how?" She hesitated. "Bound." The word echoed unpleasantly in my head. She explained then, slowly, carefully, as if talking to a child holding a grenade. Vakari armor was not just protection. It was identity, status, and oath. When a Vakari chose a path of leadership, their armor was sealed in a ritual that bound their life force to the fate of those they commanded. Removing it, especially by another, was an act of profound intimacy or profound domination. In ancient times, Celine said, only life-bonded partners or victorious challengers were permitted to touch the seals. "I'm neither," I said quickly. "You are now," she replied. The station council convened within the hour. Humans, Vakari, and 2 other species crammed into the chamber, arguing in overlapping languages. The Vakari delegation was unyielding. The rite had been triggered. Rax's armor was partially unsealed. The bond was unstable. If it collapses, Celine explained to the council, his life force will burn out. The captain will die. And if it stabilizes? A human diplomat asked. Then the human who initiated the rite must complete it. All eyes turned to me. Complete it how? I asked. Rax spoke then, his voice calm but heavy with something like resignation. You will walk the path of unveiling with me. The path, I learned, was a series of trials, mental, emotional, and physical, designed to test whether the one who touched the armor could bear the weight of a Vakari leader's fate. It was never meant for outsiders. Certainly not for half-drunk mechanics with a talent for bad jokes. I wanted to refuse. To beg. To run. But refusal meant execution. And running wasn't an option in deep space. So I agreed. The first trial began in the memory vault. Vakari technology was terrifyingly intimate. The vault linked our nervous systems, forcing us to relive moments from Rax's past. Not holograms, feelings. Pain. Loss. Responsibility. I felt his first command. The death of his mentor. The moment he sealed his armor, knowing he would never again be just an individual, but a symbol. I screamed when the connection severed. Rax watched me silently as I collapsed to the floor, shaking. Why me? I gasped. Why does this exist? Because leaders should not be alone, he said simply. The second trial was physical. On the station's exterior platform, gravity was reduced to a fraction. Rax removed more of his armor, piece by piece, each removal destabilizing the bond further. I had to mirror his vulnerability, stepping outside in only a light suit, tethered to him by an energy filament. One mistake, one panic-induced jerk, and we would both drift into the stars' pull. I learned then that Rax was afraid too. Not of death, but of failing those who depended on him. Each breath he took was measured, controlled. So I matched him, breath for breath. By the time we returned inside, the crew no longer looked at me with anger. They looked at me with awe. The final trial was the hardest. Choice. In the heart chamber, Celine explained that completing the rite meant permanent consequences. The bond would stabilize, but it would change both of us. You will share burden, she told me. Pain. Duty. Purpose. And if I walk away? I asked. Rax met my eyes. For the first time, there was no distance between us. Then I will die, he said. The room was silent. I thought of Earth, of freedom, of my old life, where mistakes were small and jokes didn't rewrite destinies. I thought of the crew, who relied on Rax.